Hello, my name is Yoko Harada. I'm from Japan, and I'm a chairperson of World Language Department. Have you lived in foreign countries? Have you imagined how our students are feeling with the language they have been learning? If not, let's listen to what our teachers have been experienced. So let's start the video. Okay. I spent my senior year of high school in Peoria, Illinois, and attended public school and graduated. I took biology, American government, American history, English, home economics, PE, choir, and algebra 2. And there were no ESL program there. So I was just a regular student, same as other students there. I really had a hard time because even though I had all A's in Japan, but when I lived there, exposed myself to all English and American culture, everything was new, and I really didn't understand what people are saying to me. And as an Asian, only Asian I was there, I was just smile and smile. Everything okay? Yes. That's what I could do. And I think a lot of students we have on campus, they're doing it. And that's the sign. So please do not let it go. Please catch their sign. If they're smiling, yes, okay, everything is good. It's not good. So please watch those signs. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sean Rist. I teach Spanish here at the Academy. I studied abroad in Spain my junior year in college, and it was a wonderful experience, but there were a lot of times when I felt like I didn't understand anything because the dialect in Spain is very different from the dialect I learned in the United States. So in class, I felt that I didn't understand the professor a lot and would raise my hand all the time and disrupt his class trying to clarify what it was he said, and I had the confidence to stop him and ask him because I didn't want to get lost. Many students here might not have that confidence to make sure they understand what they're saying or what the teacher is saying. And also there were times when I felt like I had to prepare more for what I wanted to say and wasn't paying attention to what people were telling me, so it was hard to understand what everyone was saying because I was worried about too much about what I wanted to say myself so I could respond. So language learning is a difficult and long process that people have to be sensitive to. So that's my experience. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Keely. I'm a Spanish teacher here at the Academy, and I would like to talk to you about some of my experiences abroad. So in the summer of 2010, I had the opportunity to go teach English in South America, and it was a wonderful experience. I had so much confidence before I went down there. I had studied Spanish since I was in 7th grade. I had lived abroad. I had graduated with my BA in Spanish. I had even taught at the middle school and high school level for a year at that point. However, when I went down there, it was as though all of those years meant nothing. I did not understand what they were saying. And it turns out that Chilean dialect is harder to understand. So I had to be very, very patient with myself, and it took a while for me to try to gather what I wanted to say. People automatically assumed that if I needed something to be clarified or if I needed them to reword a question, that I was stupid and that I did not understand, and from there on out treated me as if I were a child, and I was in my mid-20s at that point. So it was extremely insulting at times. And eventually, I was able to assimilate into the culture, but it took a lot on my part, and I really was fortunate because I was old enough and mature enough to kind of brush things off, whereas if I had been a teenager or in middle school, it would have been extremely hard, and it would have been really disheartening and really easy for me to lose my confidence. Also, when people speak in a room or they tell a joke and you don't understand, you feel very left out. Or if people talked and address a crowd, and sometimes they talk as if you weren't even there. They talk about you, about your life, as if you're not even there. These are all things that people need to be aware of in their everyday lives when dealing with someone who's first language.
Hi, I'm Galen Isaacs, and I studied French for 6 years before I went off to Paris in my senior year in college. I could understand everything people said to me, but I could not respond. I had to translate from English to French, put the subjects with the verbs, and make sure everything I said came out well. But it took so much time, and it was extremely stressful. When I went to England for vacation, I was still doing that, and I sort of had a laugh later because I'm saying, how am I going to say this? And I was speaking English. I knew kids who had come from other places such as Iowa, and they spoke English like I spoke English, or at least I thought I spoke English, but I had a friend from Puerto Rico who could never understand them. It isn't just speaking the language, it's all the various accents, it's all the various ways of putting things together that created such difficulty for so many kids because they could not respond. Speaking is the hardest thing to do. It's instantaneous. And if kids don't understand and they ask questions, at least they're asking questions, because otherwise things just go past them.
Hi, my name is Peter Park. I grew up in Korea. I grew up speaking Korean, and English is my second language. So I learned English in Korea at an American school. It was a school ran by Southern Baptists. So my first English was Southern. And then I came to Hawaii as a 10th grader. I attended Midpac. And I had very hard time understanding the local English. And what was difficult was understanding the culture. Academically, I just had to study a lot. Maybe I put a lot of extra effort to catch up. So my problem was not academic, but trying to fit in. And Hawaii is a special place. The locals, they seem friendly, but they are not. It's a very tight community, and it's very hard for an outsider to fit in. You have to be accepted, and it takes a lot of time. So I coming from Korea, I felt like I was coming from a broader culture, and I came to Hawaii, and it seemed a little primitive. It's a smaller culture, and I kind of looked down on the locals, but it was interesting that they thought they were better than you. So it was a cultural issue.
My name is Lily Chang Miko. I went to University of Hawaii for 2 years for my master's degree. The first year when I came here is the most difficult time for me because I learned English for many years, but when I just got here and walk into the classroom, it's just different. When you hear the professor talking about teaching the lecture, it just feels like a different language that I've learned many years ago. I just couldn't relate to the language that I've learned for many years, and then I always try to avoid eye contact with the professor. Whenever you have a sense that he's going to ask question, I would just try to look away and don't ask me answer, because I just don't have the confidence, like I'm not confident enough to answer or sharing my opinion at the first time. And also sometimes it's so hard to stay focused when you don't understand what he is talking about. And then when that time your mind starts to wander away, and then it's so hard. When you come back, you just lost the whole part. You just don't know what's going on. And then when you find out classmates, they were laughing, and I don't know what's going on there, and just feel very frustrated and very stressful. So I think the first year is the most difficult time for me.
I'm Margie O'Kelly, and I'm originally from South Africa, where we have two official languages, English and Afrikaans. English was my home language. We all learned Afrikaans, and in fact, I was pretty bilingual and thought I would do perfectly okay at an Afrikaans medium university. But when I got there, I was terribly shocked to find that academic Afrikaans was nothing like normal Afrikaans. I didn't understand what was going on. And one of the classes in particular, which was Afrikaans Nederlands, it's like Middle English and the equivalent for Afrikaans. It was learning a foreign language in a foreign language, and it was incredibly difficult. What was helpful was that I had an especially sympathetic lecturer who would walk up close to me every so often and just say, "Snap u dit, juffrou," which means, "Did you get that, miss?" And her interest encouraged me, and she also allowed us to tape. There were two of us, and she allowed us to tape the lectures so that we could go over them slowly afterwards and translate. But the whole experience was a real shock. And so what I can say in relation to students is that it's very overwhelming to be in a situation where you're immersed in a different language, and very often they start to understand the language, but they don't express it, they can't speak it comfortably, and so patience and understanding helps a lot. Thank you.